So, I thought I would talk today about doing shadow work, and it's something that I've found really enriching and helpful in my own life because obviously I have a lot of shadows. um, and what's been most interesting is finding that when you delve into them, a lot of what comes up is actually things that wouldn't necessarily be considered negative at all, but you attach mentally very negative connotations to things which may culturally be very positive. And I've seen this actually a lot when helping others with doing shadow work. For example, I offer a shadow spread that's kind of basic to kind of just help a person deal with whatever the universe wants to send out to them as an issue. I offer that spread in my Etsy shop. So it's kind of interesting what comes up because so often the case is not anything that is necessarily dark at first or anything that would be expected. And many people get confused, like, oh, why is this positive thing coming up for me? Or like with myself, it's kind of like, oh my God, why do I think this at all? When when light is shown on it, like, how the fuck did I get that belief? But we pick up these beliefs. And I think the main thing is because of like who I interact with and of course the type of person I am. I was kind of born into an experience that was kind of non-mainstream. Obviously, I was born into a family that had a lot of resistance to mainstream culture and also was very working class, bordering on poverty class. So there's a lot of resistant beliefs that you're born into with that. And you get a lot of baggage, in your childhood from that. And it's been interesting to kind of see just what I've picked up is in terms of beliefs that really have nothing to do with how I see the world or existence at all. Really, or what I know is true to me. Really, they're just things that are imprints from others. So let me give an example. I don't know, with business, a lot of people are afraid to jump in, and right now I'm having this because I'm trying to expand my work as a tarot reader, and I know that this is something that I'm really, really fucking good at. I consistently have repeat clients. I have, people who get a lot of readings from psychics and whatever all the time, and they continually tell me that I'm on par with readings that they pay a great deal of money for. So obviously I have a natural aptitude, and it's definitely something I strongly believe in, and also really love doing. So why this resistance to expanding? Now that my health is back and my arms are recovered, I have working use of my left hand now, so I can shuffle cards and easily read for myself and others again. Oh, what a horrible few months it was. And the last reading I did before I broke my arm, it's so funny, basically told me I was going to break my arm. So not that specific, but basically told me very bad things were going to happen to me if I went out and didn't trust my intuition. So anyway, side note, always trust your intuition. I cannot stress that enough. If something is telling you do not go out today, and you don't have to go out, don't fucking go out. Stay in. Because it might be that you are going to break your arm. Anyway, so yeah. Back on track. Okay, so here's an example of a really interesting thing that comes up with people in business, and myself included. I'm including myself in this as an example. It's not really failure I'm afraid of, or not being good enough. That's not really the issue. The issue is actually being afraid of being successful, being well known, having a lot more responsibility, having more notoriety, knowing exactly how to balance that, because I can deal with being a failure. Like I'm good with that. But I can't mentally grapple how success would look. And that is the case with so many people in their shadow side. Like, it's so easy for people to see how things can be bad. And a lot of people like myself are very pessimistic naturally. So with those type of people, you don't necessarily see that nasty, like, bitchy person or person who is angry or sad. Like, that shit's all on the surface with people like me. Like, I don't hide that crap. That's right there up front. But what I do diminish and what I do, like, run from and fear is the parts of me that are very likable, the parts of me that are very capable of being responsible and successful. So that's, you can see why that's a problem, because I need those things in order to have a productive life here on this planet. And, I'm not the only one who faces these issues. Like, a lot of people, when doing this work, what you discover is so often, like, you believe, like, I don't know, like, I really have this very strange belief. Here's another example. I was doing shadow work over a year ago, maybe it was, I don't know. Yeah, it was probably about a year ago, actually. I was doing some shadow work because it was over a year ago. Sorry, I'm getting distracted at the timeline. That's not important. So, I was really anxious and having a lot of resistance to having to take these college entrance exams. I don't know, most people who follow my channel don't realize that, like, I actually have the background I do, because a lot of people who are interested in these subjects are, like, very classist, so they don't really understand what working class people are like. So, yeah. I've never been to college. I've never, like, gone through any of that process. And last year I was really considering it, but I ended up actually deciding not to go and moving because of my health issues, which are a whole other great bunch of shadow work doing there. But anyway, the thing is, like, I was having all of this resistance to, like, taking these tests, and it was, like, the most stressful thing. And even though I'd had my friend tutor me in math, because I am terrible at math, like, always have been, that was the thing I was most worried about, because I knew that everything else, my writing, my English comprehension, reading, would be off the charts, because it's always has been. I just naturally have that aptitude. However, my math skills, not so much. When my friend was tutoring me, he's like, you're very numeral, but, like, when it comes to, like, getting complex with math, my brain just falls apart past, like, multiplication. I really can't. Well, multiplication, division, but, like, once you get in everything else, I'm just like, fuck this, I'm out, right? So, he was tutoring me in that, and, I still was having, like, all this resistance. I did go take my tests, and the thing that really forced me to go take my tests was that I did shadow work, because I was like, why am I having all this resistance? Why am I having so much anxiety? I'm not an anxious person generally, like, it's not something that crops up that often in me. So when it does, it's like, whoa, why is this here? This is not a comfortable vibration to be sitting in, So I did the shadow work, and I had come up, it's so stupid, but, like, I had somehow, and I think this is from my teenage years or whatever, my beliefs, what I wanted to do at that time, like, I had attracted, or, like, not attracted, but I had, like, formed the belief system that people who just go straight to college without doing anything else aren't lovable. Like, therefore, like, I was getting this, like, all this anxiety was coming up because in my subconscious, I believed that my going to college would make me unlovable. And this is a weird belief to have, and many people, like, listen to that, like, what the fuck? But I did. I believe that, and it's not just going to college. It's a bunch of things that, like, going to college and, like, living this sort of life that we're all supposed to live, and, like, working the 9 to 5 and having a normal family and all that crap. Like, I put going to college in with all of that. So naturally, I have resistance to that because I just think, you know, and I still have resistance to that sort of thing. I don't want to be a norm. I don't. It's just, it's not for me. My last name is strange. Whether it is a name I've adopted or not, it is my identity. Like, I don't feel comfortable with how mainstream society operates. I never have. And I see now, like, why, like, that belief system that I have, while it is part of me and while I totally, like, am conscious of it, there's these other aspects of it that, like, can be really damaging. Because obviously there's more to my life that I want to do than what I'm doing now. And that requires, like, further education and going off in different directions that are uncomfortable. So you see, like, you can have really resistant beliefs and, like, really crazy shadows that aren't necessarily about anything that's, I don't know, icky, or, like, things that aren't really, I don't know, unacceptable, you know, in the mainstream. Like, most of my shadows that I've come across are more to do with things that are generally considered positive things or positive traits in people. So, I don't know. I thought I would put that out there because, like, I don't know, a lot of people really want to, like, be into this, like, positive focus stuff and, like, you know, don't really want to do that work. And, like, if they do delve into the work and what comes up is, like, positive stuff, they can be very confused. Like, well, why is what's coming up positive? I want to deal with my abuse. It might be that your abuse is actually in the front of your personality and it's not subconscious. Like, if you're already mentally thinking about it and, like, verbalizing it, it's something that you're consciously aware of. To get into the state to do shadow work and to dig out those things that are, like, sabotaging you and, like, preventing you from, like, being a fully integrated human, you have to, like, really get with things that you're not conscious of, obviously. I mean, you're bringing things out of the foreground or whatever. Or background, not the foreground. You're bringing things out of the background into the foreground. So, yeah. It's just kind of some of my thoughts lately. I wanted to do a video about the importance of shadow work and also just, like, how interesting is it that, like, some of us who are darker people generally, like, have very light shadows.